Okay, so we're at the Church of the Transfiguration. I was just the deacon at the altar for the holy sacrifice of the Mass, and it was awesome. This is where Christ led Peter, James, and John up to strengthen them, to strengthen the apostles before his passion and crucifixion. So we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And so with that in mind, we'll do a backflip. So I got to be honest, whenever I read or hear about the Transfiguration, I can't help but think of Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. You know, that film from 1983. It's there at the end of that movie where the rebels defeat the Empire. They blow up the Death Star. Darth Vader confesses and converts moments before his death. And then it's at the end when Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke are all celebrating with the Ewoks, where Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and Anakin, all Jedi who appear to them as, in a sense, of approval, these hologram-like figures that are looking down upon them with a sense of a job well done. For me, this scene connects so well with the Transfiguration, where Peter, James, and John witnessed Jesus in his glorified state as something as dazzling as light, surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, which is the communion of saints. How could Peter, James, and John not be strengthened by this experience? See, not just Jesus Christ that called them by name up to that mountain, but seeing Jesus in a new way, in his glorified state, and seeing Abraham and Elijah, it must have been the icing on the cake. The key to the Transfiguration is not just the event itself, a glimpse of what is to come, but it is meant to strengthen Peter, James, and John, strengthen them for the crucifixion that is still to come. St. Leo says that the Transfiguration was to remove the scandal of Calvary. Jesus knew that these events that were to come would certainly shaken the faith of his disciples. And so he knew that their faith needed to be strengthened. And so it is Jesus who takes the initiative. It is Jesus who leads them up the mountain. All the disciples needed to do was make themselves available, to be open to the experience that was truly a mountaintop experience, not only literally, but also an experience that elevates the horizons of their heart and soul. As we reflect on our own lives, hopefully we're able to identify our own mountaintop experiences. Maybe it was a retreat, a conference, a talk, an act of service, a mission trip, or an encounter with prayer or with the sacraments. The list could go on, where for one reason or another, through the providence of God, you encountered Jesus Christ in a new way that was more profound and more meaningful than before. Something that was out of the ordinary, something that you don't forget. The temptation that we can have when we have these types of experiences is similar to what Peter encountered today, where he is tempted to throw some tents up so they can stay up there forever. The thing we need to realize is this. Yes, we are to take in this experience, this mountaintop experience to the full, but we have to realize that ordinary life isn't lived on the mountaintop. Ordinary life is lived in the plains and valleys. So the key is to remember the mountaintop. Remember the strengthening. Yes, this weekend we are on the mountaintop, and it's awesome. But the disciples don't stay up there long. For the very next day, they descend the mountain. And in a matter of weeks, the mountain they climb will no longer be Mount Tabor, but that of Calvary. Mountaintop experiences aren't just for the disciples, but they're for every human person. The Lord wants to strengthen us with our own personal mountaintop experiences, with our very own hope of heaven. God wants to give us those special moments of himself that are personal, palatable, and life-changing. God can work in any moment. God gives us mountaintop experiences sometimes when we least expect it. And they all serve as moments of grace, moments that strengthens and deepens our own conversion. But we do have an important part to play. It takes real effort to leave for a little while our ordinary lives, to make ourselves available, to be intentional, to be open to the encounter. But we are assured that when we do make ourselves available and open ourselves up and extend ourselves beyond our comfort zones, that we will come to know Jesus in new and deeper ways. And then, as eyewitnesses of his majesty, it is with Jesus who we descend the mountain with, staying with him and with the memory of the experience as we return to our ordinary lives as changed people, as true witnesses with greater knowledge, hope, and zeal for God and for one another.